Good afternoon, everyone. As most of you are aware, I'm Constable Ron Burgess of the Brandon Police Service, and I'm the Public Information Officer. With me today is Staff Sergeant Doug Thompson, who's in charge of the Criminal Investigation Unit here at the service. What we're going to do is Staff Sergeant Thompson will read a prepared statement to start things off, after which we'll be in a position to take some questions. With that, I'll pass the floor over to Staff Sergeant Thompson.
Thank you, Ron. With the information that Ron mentioned, with this prepared statement, you're all welcome to a copy of exactly what I'm reading here today, so I might save on having to jot down everything as I roll along. Questions afterwards, if you have any questions, we're prepared to answer some of them, of course, which you can appreciate, and we'll carry on from there. Okay. On May 11th, 2009, the Brandon Police Service entered an investigation into the death of 24-year-old David Bronson Azure, who died as a result of a single stab wound to his torso in the 0-100 block alleyway between 6th and 7th Streets in the city of Brandon on that day. As a result of the investigation to date, police have arrested and charged 29-year-old Alfonso Damon Antoine. And as I mentioned before, with that information, you'll have that name and the correct spelling for your notes. He's a resident of Sioux Valley First Nations, charged with second-degree murder of David Azure. Antoine is also charged with threatening to cause death or injury stemming from that incident. Police have also charged 23-year-old Lionel Joseph Young of Brandon and 25-year-old Bertrand Alexander Blacksmith, formerly of Brandon, with weapons offenses in relation to this incident. Investigation has revealed that on that date in question, May 11, 2009, a group of males and females, including the deceased David Azure, were involved in a dispute over property and had a physical confrontation with two of the earlier suspects I just mentioned. As a result, Young, Blacksmith, and Antoine attended to the downtown area of Brandon on that day after the altercation had occurred and confronted Azure's group in the 0-100 block between 6th and 7th Street. There, a second altercation ensued. It is alleged at that time that Young was armed with a piece of lumber that was found in the area, and Blacksmith was armed with a rock in a sock, and Antoine was in possession of a knife. During the second altercation, Antoine allegedly stabbed Azure once in the torso, causing his death. Both groups then fled the scene prior to police arrival. As a result of our investigation and with assistance from the community, police identified all the individuals involved in the incident. In the initial stages of the investigation, police arrested and charged 18-year-old Jesse Mark Anthony of Brandon, who was found to be in the company of the deceased Azure at the time of the incident and also involved in this altercation. Anthony initially provided false information to police and was subsequently charged with public mischief and breach of probation. This occurred on May 22nd, 2009. Anthony is presently in custody at Brandon Correctional Center on those charges. Lionel Young was charged with possession of a weapon for a dangerous purpose on May 27, 2009 for his involvement in the incident and has been released on conditions with a court date to appear in late July. On July 1st, 2009, Brandon Police Service obtained a Canada-wide warrant for the arrest of Blacksmith, the second individual in the alley. At that time, it was for accessory to manslaughter and possession of a weapon with the intent to commit an indictable offense based on information to us at that time. Mr. Blacksmith voluntarily turned himself into police on July 23rd, 2009, at which time he was arrested. Once Blacksmith's involvement in the incident became clear, the manslaughter charge was stayed, and he was released from custody on conditions after a court appearance initially, charged with a weapons offense. The investigation has not revealed that the incident is gang or drug related whatsoever, or that the suspect knew the victim. Most of the individuals involved in this incident are known to police and have been involved in criminal activity in the past. The matter is still under investigation. Further details must be reserved, of course, to protect the integrity of the investigation, and as a result of the investigation now being before the courts as we speak. Police reserve the release of earlier arrests and charges in order to preserve evidence, protect witnesses, and allow this investigation to lead into the direction that we were looking at to eventually apprehend all of those individuals that were involved in the alley on that night in question. As I mentioned, a copy of what I just read will be provided to everyone in this room that wishes to have access to it, and we will take questions if there are any at this time.
When was the first dispute, and where did it occur?
It occurred earlier on that same day, about an hour prior to this. Where it occurred is information we wish to keep at this time close to us as a result of what's going before the courts and the release of information. Go ahead.
With Jesse Anthony giving you misleading information, is there any measure of maybe how much time was wasted, or how misleading or how bad it was?
We were able to find out actually rather quickly, really within a 48-hour period, within 2 days, that the information was incorrect, and we needed to refocus on exactly who was in the alley at that time. So delay factor-wise, less than 2 days.
The other weapons that were part of the second altercation, were they used or were they just brandished during the altercation?
They were brandished during the altercation.
Do you believe there may be future arrests or charges?
No, we believe that the investigation that we've laid out here before you has concluded who caused the death of David Azure and those that were in the alley present on that night.
You said both Blacksmith and Antoine turned themselves in. Is that something that you'd call, I guess, unique, or?
It's not unique in the sake, has it happened before? Yes, it has. This type of investigation is very helpful when you do that, because when you talk about time frames, it can drag on quite some time if you're looking for someone and having to try and find them. But when they both realized that we were looking for them, Mr. Blacksmith was forthcoming sooner than we expected, which was nice. And Mr. Antoine, same thing. When he realized that we were looking for him, he asked for a little bit of time, and that little bit of time was hours in a day, and he as well turned himself in.
And you said it's not gang related or anything, but is there any kind of, I guess, worries or precautions being taken, that there may be a retaliation of some sort, or?
None whatsoever at this time.
When you say it was a dispute over property, I mean, are you able to elaborate on what that means, really?
No, once again, without affecting what's before the courts as to what happened on that earlier altercation, not at this time.
I think you said this in the release, but they did all know each other previously.
Other than whether the suspect knew the victim,
Yeah.
we're not sure, but with this group, they know each other through passing. You know, there's a history between the two of, you've seen some person before at some location, and
Right.
it's not like they've never met, whether it be outside walking down the street or a function of some kind. There was some familiarity with that group.
That's it.
Okay. Okay, and like I say, I'll provide you with copies if you wish to have them, and thank you very much for coming.